talk about the U.S. Women's National Team's next game, which is going to be the quarterfinal match against the Netherlands. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe at your leisure. I sure do appreciate it. That's going to be airing on July 30th at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So another early game, but not too early like the Australia game and the Sweden game. So thank goodness for that. So for this particular game, if you recall the last two matchups between the U.S. and the Netherlands, the U.S. won both of those by a scoreline of 2-0. The U.S., I would say, pretty much dominated the last match between the two teams all the way back in November before Tobin Heath actually got injured. I thought that they handled the Netherlands pretty well and dominated the midfield throughout most of the match. In fact, I don't even think Netherlands had a shot on goal that entire game, and they were held to a clean sheet, so the U.S. played especially well that day. However, given the fact that the U.S. has had a pretty shaky group stage and players are starting to look a little bit more lethargic, a little bit more tired, I don't think that the U.S. is going to be a dominant force in this quarterfinal match as much as I want them to be. I'm a realist. Meanwhile, the Netherlands actually went undefeated in group play. They won 2 and drew 1 game to Brazil, who is another women's soccer powerhouse, of course. And in that time, Vivianne Miedema has scored 8 goals this competition, setting actually a women's Olympic single tournament record for most goals scored. She has scored 8. The previous record holder was Christine Sinclair of Canada, where she scored 6 in one tournament. Now, keep in mind, with that record, Vivianne Miedema can still play in the quarters and beyond if Netherlands keep playing well, so she could even add more to that tally. So I guess my point with that is the Netherlands are going to have no shortage of offensive power coming up in this particular game, and the US have been a little shaky on defense. So if I'm Netherlands, I'm keen to capitalize on that, play to their strengths. However, on the flip side of that coin for the US, I think the US are pretty keen on advancing past the quarterfinals and trying to win this tournament. Hypothetically speaking, if the US were to win this game and then go on to win the Olympic tournament, they would be the first team, I believe, in women's soccer history to go ahead and win the World Cup and win the subsequent Olympic tournament thereafter. So they're chasing history at this point. Plus, if you recall, in the last Olympic competition, the US lost to Sweden in the quarterfinals on penalties. So with that heartbreak in mind and the fact they've been waiting this competition for so long, it gives them another added vendetta, I guess you could say, in order to perform well in this tournament and just keep pushing forward. And overall, what are the stakes in this match for both teams? It's either win or go home. Overall, I'm going to say I think this is going to be a higher scoring affair given how much the Netherlands have scored. I think ultimately the US is going to come away with a 3-2 win. However, Vivianne Miedema is going to give the US a ton of trouble, and I think she'll actually score a brace in this game. In order for the US to win, I think they're going to need a goal from 3 different players to get it done. And the US, this won't be an easy win by any means. So to finish off this preview, who do I think is going to start with this match? In my forward line, I've got Rapinoe, Morgan, and Press. In the midfield, I've got Sam Ewis, Roosevelt, and Julie Ertz. And then in the back defense line, I've got Kelly O'Hara, Crystal Dunn, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Abby Dahlkemper. And then I've got Alyssa Nair starting in goal. My subs for this game, they're going to include Christy Mewis. I think she's going to come on at some point. I think Lindsay Horan's going to come on at some point. And I also think that Carly Lloyd and Tobin Heath are going to come on at some point for Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe. I would not be surprised, though, for a second if Carly Lloyd started over Alex Morgan and Tobin Heath started. So, my friends, those are all my predictions and guesses for the quarterfinal between the U.S. Women's National Team and Netherlands. But I want to know, what do you make of this game coming up? Who do you think will come away victorious? Whatever you think, you know, the comment section is. Let me know.